Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So let's talk a little bit about Carlee Russell being found guilty of false reporting in kidnapping hoax, and she was sentenced to 1 year in jail. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to read this article, and I want y'all to listen to the type of foolishness that is being stated in this article by her lawyer. It's actually exhausting because, just listen. Okay. Carlee Russell has been found guilty of 2 misdemeanor charges. I feel like it should have been a felony. That should be a felony. Getting a whole manhunt involved, felony. But anyways, they gave her 2 misdemeanor charges. A Hoover Municipal Court judge stated that each charge, 1 count of false reporting to law enforcement authorities and 1 count of falsely reporting an incident, includes 6 months of jail time and an $831 fine, which I find to be ridiculous. They also told Russell that they recommend she pay a restitution of nearly $18,000, which sounds a little bit more like it. Carlee is set to serve 1 year in jail for her hoax. Russell's attorney, Emery Anthony, spoke about the ruling and opined that Carlee shouldn't have to serve jail time. See, we don't need this kind of foolishness. But it gets worse. I think she understands what has happened. No, she don't. She has apologized. I know you all said through me, and that's not good enough, but she has apologized for what transpired. I didn't hear an apology. I don't want her to have any type of breakdown or anything of that nature. So we are handling her with kid gloves and making sure her mental state is just fine, Anthony said. Now, these are like little videos or whatever when the police had came out to basically say that they had found the story to be untrue. So we went on play those. He also spoke about Carlee's disappearance and when the public will receive an answer as to why she faked her kidnapping. Well, I think that is something eventually you find out the why of it, he continued. We're not going to get into that. I think at some point in time, I don't want to put you off, but I think at some point in time, whether we have a trial or there's a trial just because the state is pushing the issue, or whether or not we would go before a judge and plead blind, I don't know right now, but I wouldn't want to talk about certain things right now if you allow me. Basically, she didn't even tell him why, so he don't know what to say. We are dealing with issues with Carlee and want the best for Carlee, and I think we realize a mistake was made, but we don't want to just pile on right now. A mistake? Carlee Russell, quote unquote, went missing on July the 13th after the woman reportedly exited her vehicle to help an alleged missing child. According to AL.com, Russell phoned 911 claiming to see a young boy lost on the I-459 in Hoover, Alabama. She then called her brother's girlfriend to alert her. The Alabama woman could be heard screaming as she approached the child until the family lost contact. Russell arrived at her family's home on July 15th, seemingly finding her way back on foot. The Hoover police told WBCR. She walked up, banged on the door, and it was her. Chief Nicholas Durzis said, "We work with the facts. With social media, you got so many people that think they know what's taking place right now. We're just very pleased she's home." On July 19th, Durzis revealed law enforcement was, quote, unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators. Due to the public interest and in some cases public fear that this story has created, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered at this point. Additionally, HPD claimed that Russell's search history included searches of one-way bus ticket and the film Taken. 2 days before she vanished, Carlee searched the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" During the morning of her disappearance, the woman searched how to take money from the register without getting caught. And an hour later, she allegedly researched Birmingham bus station. This is her parents. So I had a problem with a couple of things in this article. The first problem that I had was them talking about her mental health and not wanting to, quote unquote, have her have a breakdown. She ain't about to have no breakdown. She'll be just fine. She the one that plotted this whole cockamamie scheme that did not work. She left probably to go get her cheeks clapped in secret without her boyfriend at the time realizing that she's going cheating. That's my theory. And she wanted a cover story, which I don't know why you just couldn't. I mean, if you're gonna go get your cheeks clapped, you might as well sneak and do that and come back. But her and this one way, so she's trying to leave her boyfriend and go with some other dude. Probably this has something to do with a man. This has something to do with a man and sex and something like that, because she's too embarrassed to say what it is. If she say out loud what was the motivation for coming up with a harebrained fake kidnapping scheme, she would be so publicly embarrassed. That would be worse than going to jail. That would be worse than people speculating why, right? There is no in-depth reason why she did this. She's not having mental health issues. And the second thing that I had a problem with is them calling it a mistake. That you don't do premeditated mistakes. Mistakes are things that you do that you have no intention for the outcome, if it was bad or whatever, or you didn't mean to do that. You know, a mistake is something that you were not intending to do, but it happened, right? Whether you didn't intend the outcome or you didn't intend to do that act to begin with, right? So if I, bump into somebody, that's a mistake. I wasn't even trying to bump into nobody, especially if I bump into them and they stumble, or I bump into them and they fall. Not only did I not mean to run into them physically, I certainly had no intention of making them stumble or fall. Those are mistakes. Accidentally stepping on somebody's toes, that's a mistake. It's not a mistake to come up with an Acme scheme, a Wile E. Coyote kidnapping scheme. That is not a mistake. That's just her being an idiot and not knowing how to pull off something. And it got too much. It got too much traction. See, she wasn't ready for the traction, because see, if you get so much national attention, what happens is people are now on the lookout for you. And so now wherever she planned to go or wherever she went, that's not going to work, because people are now looking for her. I don't know what she thought her parents were going to do or what she thought her friends were going to do. They're going to report you missing. If they're not in on it and it's a shock to them, just like it's a shock to everybody else, they're going to go to the police. They're going to go to social media. They are going to try to find you. They are going to put your picture out. They are going to put your information out. They are going to do anything that they can in order to find you, especially in the first 72 hours, because this is the most critical time when a person goes missing. Typically, after 72 hours have passed and there is no person and no solid leads, police will tell you that they start looking for a body at that point. Okay. So her family was in like a tizzy because she screamed on the phone. If you heard the dispatch call, she was all screaming on the phone or whatever, and then the phone just suddenly cut off. Black folk, we don't do that kind of stuff. We don't do that. So if we hear something like that, we about to go into panic mode. Okay. Now, I don't believe that her parents knew she was going to do that, but I do believe that they are shamefaced now. So they can't come out in public and say nothing about her. Okay. What the other thing that I don't like is them trying to uphold her like she's the victim. Carlee is not a victim of, and nobody did nothing to her. She put herself in this predicament. So we're not concerned with whether or not she don't want to go to jail or she feels some type of way for having to be sentenced. Like, don't nobody care. You gotta serve that little bootleg year, and you gotta pay almost $20,000 back to the state. Oh well, she did that to herself. Nobody told her to do that. Nobody told her to do that. And if somebody did tell her to do it, she was stupid enough to go through with it. So again, this is a grown woman making a stupid decision, but it is a decision, not a mistake. She meant to do everything that she did. The only thing that she did not anticipate was all of the national attention that her story garnered. Okay? Because that messed it up. Her and the attention and her going to get Cheez-Its. The Cheez-Its and the attention, okay, fouled her plans. Like, get up out of here. Anyway, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.